Hi guys, welcome back to the Sisterish Show. So we are actually in the same position we were in last week, but since we literally can't shut up, we are splitting this episode into two, and you are getting the juicy part today.
The trauma.
The
Oh, the
juicy
trauma.
All about holiday trauma.
It's so bad.
The mic's gonna take that real well. Jackie's extra loosey-goosey today.
She has a glass of wine, so who knows where this will go.
So, yeah, we are coming at you guys with the second half of last week's episode, which we hope you really enjoyed. But I think we're just really want to push it to the next level here. So we're back, and we hope
we're
gonna
pull off the Band-Aid real fast, and we're just gonna get right on into it this week.
Oh yeah. So, all right. So let's get down to it, okay? Let's get down to it.
I mean, I'm ready. When I saw the title, Holiday Trauma, I was like, sign me up. I'm there.
All right.
Let's go.
So, all right. So let's get into it. Like, what holiday trauma do you feel that you have?
All of it.
And is it specifically surrounding Christmas?
It's really bad on my birthday. Really bad.
Okay. Your birthday is a holiday. Your birthday is a holiday. Like, I know. November 17th is a national U.S. holiday.
16th.
I said that. What did I say?
17th, you fake sister.
Did it?
Pull the credits and go back and edit this, okay? And then you're gonna do a sound effect like bang. They're gonna want me drinking on every episode.
They're gonna be like more episodes of Jackie with her Santa Margarita.
Hold on, let me do some ASMR.
Oh my gosh. We should do an episode drunk. Like, we have to.
100 million%.
Oh my gosh. I'm writing this down right now. Hold on.
Write it down next to getting older and not being able to walk. I'm in this like laughing mood. I had one sip of wine, guys. I could literally drink the whole bottle. You wouldn't know. So I'm just giggly right now. Anyway, write it down.
Episode
drunk.
Well, we should do that for my 21st, but we need to do one before that too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that every person's birthday should be a holiday if it's not for them in their life, and that their significant others should like view it that way.
I agree.
But I have a lot of it, like, I don't want to celebrate myself on my birthday.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that.
I feel like I kind of got that vibe when we were together. And I feel like
always listen to the energy.
Yeah, like I was kind of trying to like pull it out of you. Like, you literally are so hot, and like you're literally entering your best year. And I think that it's like I can see that. I feel like, why do you feel like you don't like, is it like, why do you feel like you don't want to celebrate yourself? Is it
despite what many people think about me with my social media platform and or people that have tried to cancel me last year, I actually am not into myself, and I am not a narcissist. And so I do have a weird time with like making it. I mean, look, I have a healthy level, as we all do, of like things that are for me, like me time, and like especially with my health or like a massage, a facial. Like, I always will justify girl math, me time, and making myself a priority. But when it comes to like all eyes on me,
I think you don't like to be like the center of attention.
I know, and I feel like that no one like gets that about me. Like, when I have my social media followers and I meet them in real life, everybody says the same thing, and they're like, they think my energy is going to be like, oh, I had an airhead. Excuse me. 80-20. Look at my tongue. So they think I'm going to be like, because I have a lot to say and bring, but like I'm chill. Like, especially when I don't feel comfortable. So that's the thing about me, is like, I'm studying you. I will study you and be so quiet until I feel like I can let my guard down. And so that's another reason why. But yes, side note, getting off track here. I don't like being the center of attention. I don't know what that's tied to with that. But definitely around Christmas, Arya has this too. Like every birthday and holiday, she's like even more depressed than on a normal Tuesday. Did you notice that?
I didn't.
She every year on her birthday and every year at the holidays, she like bawls her eyes out. Like literally full on funeral, black clothes.
Wow.
And like I'll ask her, I'll be like, yeah, why are you crying? And she's like, I just get so emotional this time of year. Every time I just cry every time. So she's got a whole lot of unhealed stuff up in there too.
100%.
As everyone does. But we should have Yaya on the podcast next year.
We should.
We have to. That would be hysterical. And we should have her drink.
We should.
Just to loosen her up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be really great. I think it's one of those things where, like, do you remember ever not feeling that way with your birthday or the holidays? Like, you always have felt this way.
Yeah, and I'm not even blaming my parents. I'm not like over here like, oh, you know, my daddy beat me on, Christmas every year. No, I'm not even saying that. I'm just telling you, I know that I have trauma around my mom and stepdad, and I don't
with
care
holidays
to say that. Yeah, every single mother effing birthday and holiday that man was in my life, and I moved out as fast as I could at the age of like 18, 19, was a shit show. And it was like arguments, drunk fighting, like, oh my gosh, anxiety on fleek. And so maybe that's where that comes from. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that like
my mom and him were fighting, and it was like stressful, and she's screaming and doors are slamming, and I'm like, I don't even want to be here right now. I don't even want a present. Like, I don't, because but then let's go back to
feel safe.
Yeah, and the trauma
I think I think it goes back to, though, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, but when
I think you are. It's fine.
My own way. Like, to me, as a child, like, you just want to feel safe. Like, that's what you want. You want to feel safe and loved and cared for. And so I think when you're in an environment
very basic needs.
Yes, very basic needs. And when you're in an environment where you don't feel safe, I think that now, like, whenever you think about the holidays times, like, you always are going to correlate it with those memories of feeling unsafe, uncared for. Like, I don't even want a present. I just want to feel safe in my own house. And I don't think people realize that, like, a lot of people have that experience. Like, if you grew up in a family like that, or, you're used to that constant, like, arguing and fighting, and even, God forbid, worse than that, like, that's all you're going to remember. Like, no one's going to remember, like, the one present that your, abusive
Aunt
stepdad
Sue
got you. Or that. Like, no one's going to remember that. Like, you are forever going to correlate it in your brain. So I think that, like, that's why a lot of people have such negative, emotions surrounding the holidays. And
our thoughts, though, Athina, are so powerful. And like I told you, when I had my first son, and then now 4 kids later, it's like you heal so much. Like, let's use the topic of, like, maybe you didn't have a relationship to look up to in your life, like, as far as marriage goes, or maybe it's the kid trauma. You get to rewrite that in your life as a young woman. And I want to remind all our listeners that, like, that trauma, you can't rewrite history. We never should use that as excuses to be pieces of shit to our kids or our spouse. And it's a lot of hard work, because there's things about me that I get naturally from my mom. There's things about me that I get naturally from my dad, and I don't like them.
Yeah.
And that's not to say they're pieces of crap, but like, every person, DNA or not, like, I wasn't raised in daddy's home, and I've got so many things like his personality. And so we are able to change that for our kids, for our marriage. And so that's where this whole empowerment era comes in for you. And, as you start to make your home, Athina, and you make traditions, and you set up your Christmas traditions, and they will evolve. Like, you might try turkey, and then you might go to, like, sushi. Who knows? But I know that you're definitely not going to do what everyone else is doing, because you have your big sis here that's always like, who gives a shit? Just do what you want,
Mm-hmm.
So I would really like to touch more on, and I'll ask you some questions about this for your younger friends listening. I feel like it's not just this shit that we work through as women with our kids and the trauma around that. Obviously, stress, like finances, like everybody puts everything on a credit card and they're fighting over the debt and they're whatever. I feel like younger gen, there's this weird time I can remember from not being a kid, but not having kids.
I definitely get what you're saying, and I actually didn't even think about it in that way before. Like when I celebrate like Thanksgiving, for example, like you can celebrate with like your friends and like everyone brings like a charcuterie board and like a dish and drinks and you all hang out and have fun. I think like to me that's like less stressful. I think when it comes to like family, sometimes that tends to be more stressful. And so I don't know why, but like I have done like a Friendsgiving before and it's so fun. And I feel like it's a very
because your friends are who you get to choose as family.
Right.
And unless you're dumb like me, you don't make a big mistake.
Right.
And you choose good family.
Yeah.
We don't get to choose our family.
I feel like, I don't know if it's because like there's not a ton of people that are like my age in like the family. I don't know what it is. Like I do feel like sometimes holidays are just like not awkward, but like we'll all eat and then I'm just like, okay, now what? Like what? Like yeah. I don't want to watch football. I don't like to just sit on the couch and rot away. Like I want to do something. I think it just depends on like your family, because I feel like everyone's family celebrates it so differently. I feel like I guess that's what it would come down to, but I don't feel like I don't feel like I necessarily have a negative view of the holidays, but like I'm still a summer girl for life. Like I want to rot away on the beach. Like
that's why I moved to the Keys.
I have an appreciation for like Christmas lights and Christmas movies, but like I'm a summer girl. I want to be in the sun. I want to be in the ocean. Like I don't, I'm like after Thanksgiving, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, like take me to
I've
summer.
Had enough of this. Like, let's go.
I don't know. So I don't feel like I have a super negative view of the holidays, but I also like it's not like my favorite time of year either. Maybe when I have kids that will change.
Yeah, that could change.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like
I mean, Joey's your best friend, so you guys are going to make amazing traditions, and I can't wait to watch you guys like flourish in every area of your life. And so I can tell you from experience as your big sister that like it's a little weird the first few years that you're like doing it with your spouse, but then like you really step into it and it's amazing. I guess I want to ask you, I know you were about to ask me something, but so what do you say to people that whether they're in their 20s or they're in their 20s and married and or not married, and then you go around, let's just say demographically, you move to California, you move to Connecticut, whatever. I don't know where people that are listening to this. What's the pressure? Because I said on the last episode, as a mother, and I know that you can like, there's a lot of things that have softened you because like you see me be a mom and like, you're like, oh, I probably would think that way too when I had kids, whatever. But like, is there a big pressure and or what about the dilemma of like holidays when you don't live in the state with your family and like
I feel
maybe
like
someone has a new job or like you get what I'm saying? Like how do I'm dropping things. How do you navigate that in your 20s and like whose family's house do you go to? And because I know that Sean and I had it all wrong when we were in our 20s.
Yeah. I feel like from what I've seen, a lot of people go home for the holidays. Like I feel like a lot of people that let's say are in college, like they'll go home to like their parents.
If your college isn't like you have a house and a real job.
No, but like if they're away like that, they'll go home. If you're like, I mean, I feel like it depends. Like from what I feel like I've seen from people in their 20s, I feel like most people will either, if they have a good relationship with their parents and they're able to, I feel like they will go, if their parents are hosting, like they would go to like their house. But at the same time, maybe like if you had kids, I feel like you might also like want to do something for like your family.
For Sean and I, we really had a lot of pressure. And then I moved really far away and there was no way like we were going to come up there. And then the other thing that happens, even if you don't do Santa, is Christmas morning, you don't want to do it at anyone's house other than your own.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Kardashians do it at their own Christmas morning at their homes and they get together. Yeah. So in a perfect world, you have like your core 6, which we've talked about. But like, I can't guarantee that all my sons are going to live by each other. And then I also can't expect or put this. I just think that sometimes parents put these unrealistic expectations. Mind you, I was just telling you that I hope my kids come home, but like also you have to like meet them where they're at. And so one of the things that I know is an unpopular opinion within our family is I feel like the older parents, which I don't have the typical situation like you will, they should actually go to their kids. I feel like, because you guys are establishing a home. Like when people say to me like, oh, you should call whoever, like you're like they're your elder, whatever. I'm like, but I'm really busy. Like I'm trying to create a new life here in the Keys. Like I've got 2 businesses, I've got these sons. And so do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know. If I had the ability to like do like a Christmas tour, if my kids don't all live by me, I would do it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like I'm not saying never say never or any of that. I never do that as a parent. But I don't know. Because I feel like there's a lot of pressure and a lot of trauma comes from that. Like, we have to go to your mom's house. No, we're going to my dad's house. You know, that whole thing.
And like, thankfully, like, I guess you kind of dealt with it more than like I do. Like, where like Sean had a whole other family that you guys like would have had to go to. Whereas like, I don't really have that as much, which does make it a little easier. Cause I even talk to clients and they're like, I'm like, oh, like, what are you like doing for the holidays or whatever? And they're like, oh my God, I'm so stressed because, you know, my husband's side of the family wants us, you know, we have to go to their house, then we have to go to this house, like all in the same day.
It's almost the trauma of like the divorce morning of Christmas.
And I'm just like, you mean you're going to 3 people's houses in one day? I'm like,
yeah, that's
like,
what they
in
are.
what world? Like, so I think like it honestly, all it comes down to at the end of the day is so much pressure from people just like telling you what you have to do and like, oh, well, why aren't you doing that? Oh, you're not gonna do that for the like, and it's just that's what it comes down to. And I think that's why people like get so anxious and stressed over the holidays, is because there's just so much pressure to do everything like the correct way or the way everyone's doing it. And obviously that's literally one of our biggest themes that we always talk about, but it is true.
It could turn into a circus. Like it could, imagine your parents are divorced and then your siblings marry other people and then they live in other places and they want to, or I think it might be more pressure if you live in the same area.
Yeah.
Because then you're expected, like, what's wrong with you?
You just go everywhere.
You didn't see Tommy on Christmas? Like, it's like, well.
Yeah. No, I definitely. So I was going to ask you like okay, so obviously like you have 4 boys and obviously, you know, I know we're not into the whole like, oh, I only have 6 summers left with them. Like, you know, we don't like to talk like that. And I think I don't like that. But do you ever like how do you feel when you think about like them growing up and like in relation to holidays? Like, does it make you feel like nostalgic? Like, does it make you feel sad? Do you feel excited and like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for them to be older and like we're like, you know, for them to have families? Because that's a whole other era of like when your kids have kids. Like, it's so exciting.
Oh, man.
And like, I feel like there's so much not negative, but there's so much like, oh, my kids are going to leave me when they're 18. But it's like, okay, maybe they'll move or maybe they'll leave and, you know, have a relationship and have kids. But like, that's a whole new era of like new babies and like new people in your life. So how do you feel when you think about your kids? Because obviously it does have to be like sad to think about, like, you know, there's going to be a day where like they're like, you know, maybe like one of them won't be in the house with you and like that type of thing. So how do you feel about thinking
unless you're Greek, about then that? They never leave. So if you're Greek, they say the sons stay forever. No.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That was a joke, but it wasn't really, but it kind of was. So it's that's a loaded question for the moms listening. I know that they'll get it. So, you know, when I'm editing Yanni's birthday video and I'm like having a nervous breakdown and I'm looking at him, you know, this little baby, because you will only get this, Athena, when you have kids, and I don't care. Yeah. And you'll get it and you'll look at me and be like, I get it. But time literally goes on warp speed when you have children. You're still on like a pretty slow speed right now. When I tell you that I blinked and I have a teenager, I blinked and I have a teenager. And that is the part that makes me emotional. it's just
I'm not even his mom, and like I could cry thinking about it. Like I literally
no, I mean you grew up with him. Like let's just call it what it is. You're closer in age to my son than you are to me, but like
yeah, like
you've always been his aunt. Like you're always been like big sis vibes, aunt vibes. Like it's never been like you guys are the same level, you and Yanni. Now for our younger sister and our brother, it's different. They have different relationships obviously because they're closer in age. But Yanni definitely views you as an aunt, which I'm thankful for. But yeah, so the part that gets me sad is just time. Tick, 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 tick. ASMR. That makes me sad. And Daddy, I just had a 2-hour conversation with him when I was driving back from Miami when we were together for my birthday celebration. And like, he always says to me the same way I'm 10 years ahead of you. He's like, you're 20 years ahead of me, him, our dad. Because because of that, I'm very, like, my bullshit tolerance is low. I'm very, like, that's why we moved to the Keys. That's why we didn't have time to wait. Husband, I didn't know how hard it was going to be actually, but I know that you're miserable every day of your life and life could end tomorrow. So that means we're going now. We're going right now. And so, you know, I feel like so many people live these miserable lives and they do what's safe to society. Yeah. And, you know, to me, because of my children, I feel like I'm on this clock all the time, but not in an anxiety way, in like a get shit done way or enjoy the moment, put your phone away, move to the Keys, get on the kayak, whatever. Now, when it comes to what you asked me about how I feel like looking forward or how I feel, I look to the future with so much like I romanticize my life and I am so thankful for my life.
Me too.
Even getting my ass literally buried this year, and I know you know this, and we'll talk more about it one day publicly, I still romanticize my life and my marriage. And this is my story, and it better be epic. And so I can't even imagine, like when I cry, it's because the ticking clock. Because I know that if I am the non-selfish mother that is raising her sons to be men, they will get the fuck out of my house and they will create their own lives. And that's what I want for them. But that's why I get emotional about the clock. Now, I don't know. I know that maybe one day one of my sons might come back home, or I will say this. I hope they all live by me, but I live in the Florida Keys, so I highly doubt it. But the thing that I can't stand that moms do all the time is they make it about them. They make it about them. And that's the whole like imitation is flattery I talked about. And I brought it up because I'm a mom. Like I see like mothers competing with their daughters and I'm like, ugh. I would never make my son's birthday about me. I am so excited to get to know my sons. I'm so excited to get to know them as adults. And everyone always said to me like, oh, I'm so sorry you didn't have a daughter. And I'm like, I'm going to have 4 kick-ass daughter-in-laws. Yeah. And you know what? God might give me a bunch of freaking girl granddaughters, which by the way, I don't even need them. I never had that whole like, oh, I want to have a daughter. Like I'm not that girl. That is connection to trauma. So, you know, I literally my entire time, every pregnancy was like, this better be a boy. Better be a boy. The last one we didn't find out. I mean, I was hoping that I could name it after you and it was another boy, but I literally the day before I had Lukey Bear, you can ask Sean this, God strike me down, I was bawling my eyes out saying, oh my gosh, what if it's a girl? I don't know what to do. I don't want to have a daughter. I don't know what to do with a daughter. Like and Sean's like, babe, don't worry, it's a boy. And it was a boy. But no, I feel excited. I'm so excited. I'm hopeful. I feel like when you do life with your best friend from Sean and I, and you're able to like go through the pits of life and the ups and the downs and all of it. And like, we are breaking those generational cycles every day of our life. I look with pride too, not in like a, you know, like someone would say like way. No, like I'm proud. I'm proud of the woman I'm becoming, the woman that I am. But I also see how much I've grown in just one little year and how much I've grown in 10 years. And so I hope for you as my little sister to always look with hope to the future and like, this is going to be epic. Like, so that's epic. How I feel. That's how I feel.
What a good answer. She's like on the verge of tears.
Let me get a sip. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, look how you look at your nephews. Like, I feel like you're the only sibling I have that like you literally, I don't know, you have the same pride that I feel. Like I know you look at Yanni and you're like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a cool relationship, the auntie thing.
It's a very cool relationship, and I think that like it's so like I literally like to me like literally like they're my children, like they're my babies. Like I've been calling them my babies since I was a baby. Like literally, like when we went to like Outer Banks together and all the trips and I stayed with you guys, like they are my children. So
yeah, you've always called them your kids.
Always. And so I have like a mole that I'm just not a mole, a pimple that I'm just picking at right now. But since I have spent so much time with them, even though we've always lived 12 super plus hours away, like I feel so close to them. And I also feel the same way as you. Like I'm so excited to watch them grow up. And even though it's not sad, but it's like, you know, it's emotional to see Yanni be so big and like Mark get bigger and everyone, but it genuinely like it's fine because I'm like they're just gonna have kids that are just gonna remind me of them, which is like think of this though, because we're totally now in like another planet.
Forget like, the episode, no more trauma.
Think about like because I like to me, and I'm not just saying this because you're my sister, like to me, like you are an above average parent. Like compared to all the parents in the world, in the country, like you are a very much above average parent. Which
that means everything to me. On a bad day, I'm going to come back and replay this.
So to me, it's like you are so involved in their lives and you are so like, you actually like your kids and like, and the reason I'm saying I definitely that is I talk to so many moms that like sound like
hate their
kids and I hate, but all that to say, I think that because you are so involved in their life and you genuinely like them, you talk to them like adults, which is so important for a kid's development, by the way. But
yeah, I've always talked to them like they were adults, even from when they were little.
I think think about how amazing it will be when like they have kids and you see them in their kids.
Oh my gosh. And now she cries.
Like literally, like think about like a mini Yanni running around and he like makes a mannerism or like cries like him and you're like, oh my gosh, like that's literally my son, like in baby form again.
No, like I literally, like obviously my daughter-in-law has a say in this, but like please give me my grandbabies all the time. Like I will listen to whatever you want me to do with them. No, seriously, that's why I look with so much joy to the future.
Yeah.
Let's just go here since we're doing this. This is becoming the nostalgia.
Whatever. The title of this episode is going to be Holiday Trauma Turned Nostalgia. Let me write that down.
Write that down now. No, Athina, I look to you with the same excitement watching you do all your next things. When I think about you getting engaged, I cry to Sean. When I think about your showers and your wedding, oh, and then I think about you having that baby. Built-in babysitter. I'm right here whenever you need it. I will listen to everything you want. Like I will, like I
know.
I cannot wait for that. Like first it's going to come from you, then it's going to come from my kids. And so that's what's really cool too about my situation.
There's just so many good things that are just like life is
we're just getting started.
I'm not even trying to like you might be listening to this and like you've had the worst day today. Like life is so good and like
you have so much to look forward to. You need to look for your health and you have a roof over your head. And I think that's like great to talk about too. It's like, can we please start a movement of what really matters for the holidays? Are you healthy? Do you have someone that loves you? Doesn't matter if it's your spouse.
Well, don't even get me started on the
Oh, where's she going? Where is she going to go with
this? Don't even get me started on you guys that, you know, like the things you feed your kids during the holidays and the things you put in your body during the holidays and just the overall like the overall unhealthiness and disgustingness of just how you treat your bodies from October 31st to January 1st, and all of a sudden your butt is in the gym. No. Go
for
back
1
a few
month.
episodes. Yeah. I'm gonna get canceled for like half the things like I want to say.
No, we need to do the episode of how you are a fat shamer. That needs to come out. I just dropped the mic and we are definitely doing that episode, and you better keep that in. Athina is a fat shamer. Say it out loud.
I'm a fat shamer, and I have no.
Oh, you are canceled.
No, I am and like, look, there's more to it than just that. Like,
there's so much more to it.
There is. So take that with a little grain of salt, but
and know that Athina is a very lovely human being, and I'm
so lovely. She is kind, love. And I know that there's many reasons that people may be in that state. So I'm not trying to categorize everyone together, but if you're just a lazy piece of trash, then I am judging you. And I think that it's really sad that you wouldn't take care of yourself. And that's it. And that's fine. And you can cancel me.
And we'll do a whole episode on that. Did you write fat shaming down yet? In your little notepad?
No, but it's drilled. It's drilled in there.
She can't get away from it.
So anyways, that's a whole other thing. But I think the holidays and if we want to take this down the health route, like, you guys, like, feeding your body with all these terrible sugars and things like that is only feeding into anxiety even more. So
yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to feel better
after prioritize you and prioritize your sleep.
Yes.
Prioritize your routines even during the holidays, because then you're just like, it's not going to help the situation.
Yeah. 100%.
We also need to be checking in on our friends and checking in on our family members that might not be as blessed as far as like.
Yeah. And I think that I just, like, as we kind of close this out, like, that's what we really want to highlight with you guys is not everyone is going to have the same experience that you might have this positive outlook on this time of year. So, like, check in on the people around you. Like, don't just assume that everyone is happy-go-lucky, like, living their best life during the holidays. So it's very important. Like, don't just assume that.
Absolutely.
And be there for your friends and look out for your friends and even family members, friends, whoever it is. Like, look out for people, because more times than not, like, so many people are going through so many things that, you know, they're not sharing. And we didn't even touch on this, but, like, you know, people that may have, like, lost someone or something like that, like, that's all they're thinking about on the holidays. So there's just so many different factors that go into it of why someone might be feeling a certain way. And I think it's just important that we try to understand.
Just don't be a dick. That's what she's trying to say. Don't be a dick.
That's the summary of the entire episode.
Don't be a dick. Check in on your friends. Don't use trauma for excuses, but make it empower you to do better for your family. Also, you have so much to look forward to in the future, and you can find so many amazing things today in your life. It's just what you focus on.
Yeah. So I love that.
I think we're going to close it out here because I'm hungry and I had a glass of wine and I love you. And I think, you know, when you see that meme that's like, yeah, sad story, me too, but get over it. Like, we don't mean that, but I do mean that kind of like, you know, it is what you make it. And everyone has a story. And it could have been the perfect childhood to society's, like, you know, standards, but we all have shit. And just holding space for everybody and, you know, rewriting your story with your family, your spouse, your boyfriend, your kids, like, it's exciting. And so look forward with excitement to the future. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year,
Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Diwali, Happy Valentine's Day.
We love you all. We say Merry Christmas when it's like Halloween and like in the summer.
That was like
Merry
a thing.
Christmas.
Yeah, love you. That? Merry Christmas.
Love you. Merry Christmas.
All right. Merry Christmas, folks.
Merry Christmas.